Hey, health enthusiasts, ever feel like you're drowning in diet jargon? Today we're tackling a big one, the difference between low carb and ketogenic diets. These two often get mixed up, but they're not quite the same thing. Think of them as distant cousins, not identical twins. Our goal today is to provide a clear, jargon-free explanation that will help you understand exactly what sets these diets apart. Let's start with what most of us are used to, the standard Western diet. It's typically very high in carbohydrates. Think of it as the beige buffet: bread, pasta, rice, carbs galore. The average person consumes upwards of 250 grams of carbohydrates daily. When you eat carbs, your body breaks them down into glucose, which is basically sugar. This glucose is then used for energy, or if you have too much, stored as fat. Now, let's talk about low carb. As the name suggests, it involves reducing your carbohydrate consumption. This reduction leads to lower blood glucose and insulin levels, and that's a good thing. When your body doesn't have as much glucose to burn, it starts using those fat stores for energy. Hello, weight loss. So what exactly is low carb? Well, that's where things get a little fuzzy. There's no universal definition. Many scientific papers define it as less than 130 grams of carbs per day. But if you search online, you'll find advice ranging from 100 to 150 grams daily. It's a bit of a wild west out there. Practically speaking, a low-carb diet means significantly reducing bread, rice, and pasta. You'll also want to cut back on refined sugars. Most vegetables are allowed, but you'll need to manage your portion sizes of starchy vegetables like potatoes and corn. As you reduce carbs, your protein and fat consumption will naturally increase. Don't be afraid of healthy fats. The great thing about low carb is that your body adapts pretty quickly and easily. It's a relatively gentle transition. Now, a quick but important safety note. If you're diabetic and on medication, please consult your doctor before starting a low carb diet. Combining medication with a low carb diet could lead to dangerously low blood sugar. It's crucial to get professional guidance. Unfortunately, not all doctors are comfortable adjusting medication for low-carb diets. So find a healthcare provider who's knowledgeable and supportive. Alright, let's dive into the ketogenic diet, or keto. Think of it as a more extreme version of low carb. The carbohydrate restriction is so severe that your body starts producing ketones. These are basically alternative fuel sources. When glucose is scarce, your liver produces ketones from fat. These ketones then become your body's primary energy source. After about 3 to 4 days of strict carb restriction, around 75% of your brain's energy comes from ketones. Pretty cool, huh? Now, it's super important to understand that ketosis is not the same as diabetic ketoacidosis, DKA. These are two very different things. DKA is a serious complication primarily of type 1 diabetes. It involves extremely high levels of both ketones and glucose. Dietary ketosis, on the other hand, involves normal glucose levels and moderately raised ketones. It's a controlled, natural process. If you're not diabetic, you simply cannot go from nutritional ketosis to ketoacidosis. So, breathe easy. How much do you need to restrict carbs to enter ketosis? Well, it varies from person to person. It depends on factors like your activity levels, genetics, and physical size. Everyone's a little different. Generally, you're looking at somewhere between 20 and 50 grams of carbohydrate per day. That's pretty strict. How do you know if you're actually in ketosis? There are a couple of ways to find out. You can measure ketone levels directly with a finger prick blood test. These are the most accurate. Alternatively, you can measure ketones in your urine with dipsticks. These are less precise but still helpful. So, what does a ketogenic diet look like in practice? Well, most fruits and vegetables are restricted. Starchy vegetables like potatoes, corn, and sweet potatoes are completely eliminated. Say goodbye to fries. You'll want to focus on consuming adequate protein. Think meat, fish, eggs, and poultry. You'll need to replace those drastically reduced carbohydrates with fat, healthy fats such as olive oil or avocado oil. Remember, it's the carbohydrate restriction, not the fat consumption, that causes ketosis. Fat is just there to keep you full and satisfied. Speaking of satiety, that increased fat consumption really helps with that. You'll likely feel fuller for longer. Let's bust some common keto myths. It's not just about eating large amounts of fat all day long. The beauty of keto is that ketones actually inhibit hunger and trigger satiety. You'll likely find yourself naturally eating less. Many people on keto naturally restrict their food intake without even counting calories. It's a pretty amazing effect. The whole hunger experience is radically different on keto. You're less likely to experience those intense cravings and energy crashes. Now let's talk about the dreaded keto flu. This is a set of transitional symptoms that some people experience when their body isn't used to ketosis. The drop in insulin levels leads to fluid and electrolyte loss. This can cause headaches, fatigue, and irritability. The good news is that these symptoms can be minimized by staying hydrated and replacing electrolytes. Drink plenty of water and consider adding some salt to your diet. So, to recap, both low carb and ketogenic diets are low in carbohydrates. That's the common thread. The ketogenic diet is very low in carbohydrates and higher in fat. It's a more extreme approach. The ketogenic diet is defined by the metabolic state of ketosis. That's the key difference. A low carb diet simply reduces carbohydrates without necessarily triggering ketosis. It's a more moderate approach. The ketogenic diet often comes with more transitional symptoms, like the keto flu. Be prepared for that. And the ketogenic diet is definitely more restrictive. It requires careful planning and attention to detail. Some people also have concerns about the additional fat consumption on a ketogenic diet. It's something to consider. Ultimately, the choice between low carb and keto depends on your individual goals, preferences, and lifestyle. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. Neither approach is inherently better than the other. It's all about finding what works best for you. The best diet is one that is sustainable and helps you feel your best. It's about long-term health and well-being. And if you want to dive deeper into this topic, be sure to join me on my YouTube channel for more information and tips. Thanks for watching.